This Week in Agribusiness, serving America's most essential industry, is brought to you by Case IH.
Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. Max, as this new Congress takes shape, we're seeing ag policy issues move to the center.
The lobbyists are headed to Capitol Hill, and those who work for Farm Bureau have their marching orders with their policy in hand after their annual meeting a few days ago. I talked about that this week with the president of the American Farm Bureau, Georgia farmer Zippy Duvall. I asked him about the writing of that farm bill just ahead, if he's concerned about the debate over nutrition programs distracting from the agriculture portion of it.
Well, I think it's a good possibility they may use that as leverage to get things they want done, and we've got to make sure as an industry and as farmers and ranchers that we encourage our congressmen and senators that our food security and our national is our national security, and it's nothing to be played with. We need to make sure we get this farm bill done and get it done on time. And you got to have farmers to be able to feed people, and there are people in this country that is not as fortunate as others that do need those feeding programs. So they go hand in hand. It should be called a farm and food bill instead of a farm bill. And we're going to work real hard to try to keep them together and advocate to get both things done.
Are there one or two top priorities within the Farm Bill and the matters that really matter to Farm Bureau members as proposed in your policy?
Sure. One of the things that we were asking our delegates was, are we willing to ask for increase in the baseline of the Farm Bill? We've been reluctant to do that over the years. We're all concerned about the heavy debt load that our country carries. But if you look at the last couple of years and the cost of production going so high of producing the commodities that we produce, we realize that those expansions, that baseline's got to be expanded to be make up for those extra costs it's costing us to produce the food for this country.
I told Zippy Duvall I've been hearing from some Farm Bureau leaders they're concerned about ESG, the environmental social governance push, whether or not that might result in a rating system of farms, where crop insurance premiums could be affected, where interest rates and financial institutions might be impacted. I asked Zippy Duvall if he's concerned about it.
It's a big concern of ours, and we are very supportive of any climate smart practices, but we believe that it all needs to be voluntary, market-based, and market-driven. Because we know that our farmers respond to that. If you look historically in conservation programs, in the conservation title, our farmers have voluntarily stepped up and put 140 million acres in conservation. And that's the size of California and New York put together. So our farmers have proven if you put a practice out there for them, participate with them, help them put it on the ground, that they'll voluntarily do the things for conserving our natural resources and protecting our climate.
With the Chinese balloon event in recent days, there's a lot of concern about our relationship with that nation. A big customer of ours, we're important to them. But now we see that there's a real push in regard to maybe limiting their ability to invest in land or facilities in some of our states. Well, is there farm policy relating to that within Farm Bureau?
It is, and our farmers are very concerned with that. And I know if you look at all the statistics, only 3% of the farmland is owned by foreign entities. But that is a big concern of our farmers, that, you know, who's going to be growing our crops in the future? Who's going to be the farmers? And are they going to be people, young people from our country, or will it be owned by foreign? Because, you know, if you look at our country and how peaceful we stay, it's because we have a plentiful amount of food and all of it in good quality. And that's what keeps a country safe, and it's what keeps it peaceful, is that everybody has food available to them. And that's why we need to make sure that that farmland stays in farmers' hands.
So Farm Bureau leaders and those in other groups will have much to talk about in their annual lobbying trips to Washington. Those will be coming up in just a few weeks.